Hi there. I want to talk to you today about the Beatitudes that we have in the book of Revelation. There are 7 of those scattered throughout the book, and I want to share with you the first one today. But before we do that, let me remind you that the book of Revelation is all about Jesus Christ. We have Jesus pictured throughout the book. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 12 to 16, we have Jesus as the glorified Son of Man. In Revelation 5, verse 5, we have Jesus as the Lion of Judah. In Revelation 5, verse 8 to 13, we have Jesus as the worthy Lamb. Revelation 12 and verse 5 has Jesus as the Son who will rule all. Revelation 19, verse 7 to 9, has Jesus as the bridegroom, and Revelation 19, verse 16, has Jesus as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. In other words, Revelation is all about Jesus Christ and what he speaks to us. So the first beatitude that we have is found in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. I'll give you a moment as you page in your Bible to Revelation chapter 1. That's the last book in the Bible. Revelation 1 and verse 3, it reads like this. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Now first off, as we read that and we hear this text, we note a few things. One, we note that the reader is singular. There's only one person reading. But we note that they that hear the prophecy are plural, so many people hear. And this is part of the ancient culture where there was one hearing synagogue and there were many people listening to him. We see that in the New Testament in Acts chapter 13, verse 15 and 27, where someone stands up in the synagogue and reads and the assembly hears them. Acts chapter 15, verse 21, you have that same thing again. Colossians 4, verse 16, we have the same thing. Somebody stands up and reads. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 27, we have the same thing. Someone stands up at church and they read and the congregation hears the word. And so John says, blessed is he that readeth. So the person that is reading this is blessed, and the people that are hearing what is being read are blessed too. And those are the introductory words to this thing. But then he says, blessed are they that hear the words of this prophecy. Now, you know, seeing that we are just now in the introduction of Revelation, that no prophecy has yet been spoken by the prophet. So what are the prophecies that are in this book? You will note as you read through the book of Revelation that from chapter 1 through chapter 4, there is letters to the 7 churches. Some people include those as prophetic writings when they do an interpretation. The prophecies proper starts in Revelation chapter 4, where you have from Revelation chapter 4 verse 1 to Revelation 5 to 14, we have the prophecy of the heavenly throne room, where the scroll is sealed. You have the second prophecy in Revelation chapter 6, verse 1 through 8, verse 1, where you have the opening of the 7 seals. The next prophecy is Revelation 8, verse 2 through 11, verse 19, where you have the sounding of the 7 trumpets in Revelation. Then you have Revelation chapter 12, verse 1 through chapter 14, verse 20, where you have the 7 signs and characters before the final judgment. Revelation 15, verse 1 through Revelation 19, verse 5, you have the 7 bowls of the wrath of God. Then Revelation 19, verse 6 through Revelation 20, verse 15, you have the prophecy of the coming and the reign of the King of Kings. Revelation 21, verse 1 through 22, verse 5, you have the prophecy of the new heaven, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem. So the prophet says, blessed are you when you hear these prophecies. But then he adds another element to it. He says, and keep those things which are written therein. In other words, These prophecies are specific teachings to the church that they had to obey. So as we go through this series called the Beatitudes of Revelation, we will discover the teachings that we are to keep that's found in this book. And then the Revelator ends by saying, for the time is at hand. And you understand what he means by that. He means that Jesus is coming again.